Ugh, it's day 9. It's January 28th. Do I look demoralized? I just finished doing my taxes. Why am I paying taxes? Why are you? I have seen some people talking about not doing that, some various forms of protest, meaning eventually they will have to pay them, probably. I don't know. The video I saw was like, who knows what's going to be happening by next year. I know they're trying to defund the IRS, so anyways. You know, another day, another shitstorm flowing out of his butthole. I know everybody, the message chains about the federal funding freeze. You know, I have a bunch of group chats with friends and stuff, and I think I've mentioned this before. I'm 15 years sober, so I know a lot of people who work with newly sober individuals who rely on these things to get back on their feet. So there's just a lot of people that are terrified, really terrified. I did also see some videos of some Trump supporters sobbing because their SNAP benefits were going to get canceled. But good news for the time being, a federal judge has paused Trump's federal funding freeze. A lot of the stuff he's doing is not constitutional, and there's typically like a process for this stuff that he's just like not following. But he is displaying like the whole entire disease of narcissism perfectly to a T, because everyone is tripping over themselves trying to get out of his way. And that's how families of abusive narcissists end up so sick. And that's how our country ends up so sick when we have someone like that in charge. It's also how the world ends up sick when there is a country that has a lot of power that has a leader like that in charge. We can think of a few examples, I think, of men that are currently in power that terrorize their citizens and the rest of the world. And frankly, I'm fucking sick of it. How about you? So 400 U.S. Agency for International Development employees, you said, they were laid off. This is due to Trump's stop work order that blocked foreign aid. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs, right? I know that they are offering some federal employees like a 70% buyout. I don't know if they mean 70% of their annual salary. I don't know what that means. But a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And honestly, it's not going to just be federal employees that are losing their jobs, although that's a big part of it. One of the things that I didn't see a lot of people talking about that the federal funding freeze would block is also infrastructure projects in the United States. So that will also lay off thousands and thousands and thousands of contractors. That maybe they're contracted in to help with these projects. I think that's probably how that works. I don't know. You tell me if somebody who's watching this knows. Frankly, those companies, many of those companies are probably completely handicapped without their immigrants. I am going to mention this movie again. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch A Day Without Mexicans. I think it came out in the 90s because I feel like I watched it for the first time back in like 95 or something. But it's extremely applicable today because what happens is all of the Mexicans in California are raptured. And California shuts down because they don't know how to wipe their own ass without their immigrants. The immigrants were doing everything for them, and they're just wandering around their giant houses screaming. That's going to be the United States real soon. It's just going to be absolute chaos. Everything he's doing is horrible. The stop work order also cut off all of the anti-HIV drugs and anti-AIDS medication for patients in Africa. Any of the things that we were doing that were beneficial to other places in the world, he basically just said, We don't care. Super gross. Carolyn Kennedy, I actually watched 90% of her video, but I had a really busy day. Carolyn Kennedy is RFK Jr.'s cousin? I think cousin. Yes, cousin. You know, she was careful about what she said. She said she's never spoken out about him publicly before, but she feels like she needs to because of the situation. Because she literally pulled no punches and said he's a dangerous predator. She did talk about his substance abuse, but I'll tell you what, again, as someone who has 15 years sober, obviously not all sober people are the same, and some sober people have some pretty serious secondary mental health issues, myself included. I have CPTSD. It will be with me for the rest of my life. But what I'm talking about is things like sociopathy, like psychopaths, narcissism, dark triad features. I'll tell you what, she talked about one of the biggest red flags that she saw early on with RFK when he was young was how he kept birds of prey as pets, and he would, this is so disgusting, I'm sorry, he would put live chicks and mice in a blender and grind them up. You don't need them to be live. Most people feed pets that require that type of food frozen, already dead. That suggests that there's something fundamentally broken that can't actually be fixed with any type of mental health support, to be honest with you. There's a lot more where that came from. If you are interested, you can go read about him. I don't know. I don't really know how much power that guy's going to really have, to be honest with you. I mean, I know he is like head of the health something or other. None of those people, I don't take them seriously. And I guess if the worst thing he can really do is, well, obviously vaccines are a really big deal. Again, man, I guess all 3 of his kids are vaccinated. That's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. She talked in the video about how much money he's made off of peddling anti-vax propaganda when him and his kids are vaccinated. People eat this shit up, and I think, to be honest with you, I've always thought of a lot of these sort of paranoid conspiracies as a reaction to our nervous systems being in a very heightened state for a very long time. People feel like something's wrong and they're right, and then they pin it on the wrong things. Anyways, it's sad. I'm sad about all of this, but another day, another fucking long list of sad shit, right? I know I touched on this yesterday, but the tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas, it is the largest since the 1950s. Health professionals are saying that the numbers are starting to trend downward, but it's still unprecedented. And what's weird about TB is that there are some people that are like actively that have tuberculosis, but they have no symptoms, and I think they can continue spreading it. So it's a really kind of a messed up disease. And again, we probably won't hear about it if it starts moving into other states, because the CDC and all the WHO, all of the health organizations are banned from speaking to us. It's like the triangulation is a term. It's a term about narcissism where they like pit different people against each other. So you could just almost say like different organizations against each other as well. It works on a massive scale and a smaller scale. So you could scale this out to countries and you can scale it down to individuals. Trump is doing a lot of triangulation right now, telling people they can't talk to each other. Again, it looks exactly the same in a family system, where like telling one person that the other person's abusing so-and-so and it's not true, and just all this, it's very exhausting for the people that are subjected to it. Now I have a little bit of good news for you. I know we love revenge. I'm sorry if you had NVIDIA stock, because our stock market took a huge dump. And yeah, I said that on purpose. My analogies are sometimes the same analogies that you would think a 12-year-old boy might use. I don't know, is Jensen Huang, is he the CEO? He lost $20 billion as an individual in this because of DeepSeek. Love you, DeepSeek. The world's richest people collectively, the 500 richest people collectively, lost $108 billion in the last 48 hours. And I absolutely love that. And I mean, I'm hearing a lot of different opinions, and I know that a lot of people are just absolutely panicked. But here's what's up. DeepSeek is better than OpenAI. It uses less energy. It was extremely inexpensive to create. It is free. It is better across the board. People are saying it's more user-friendly as well. I don't think that OpenAI is making a comeback from this. I'm sorry. And I do think it just exposed how corrupt our stock system is, how corrupt, honestly, how corrupt the government is. They're all just in bed together, doing gross shit, trying to give certain companies exclusive access to certain things like technologies. And I think it's funny. I think it's great that it took a shit. Here's the reality. For a lot of people, I know that their 401ks are tied up in the stock market. Me too. I don't have a lot in there. It's a long story, but I don't. And I'm not, I'm kind of glad. It's kind of a good time to be a little bit poor. Because I don't really have to give a shit about it. I don't have enough additional funds right now to be fucking around with the stock market. Crypto has always seemed really slimy to me. I don't trust it right now. I'm not fucking with it. I know a lot of people have made money with it. I remember when it first came out, and someone I worked with bought a car with it. I know. I don't trust, I just don't trust these people. I don't trust it. And maybe that'll just end up biting me in the ass. I think stocks, I think all of that is interesting. I think it's very, very risky. I've also seen a lot of people crying about their loss in Donald Trump's crypto scheme because they lost so much money and they're probably not going to get it back. Yeah, it just feels to me like I would almost rather just go fucking play blackjack because it seems like it has the same odds. I don't know. Trump is also placing 25 to 100% tariffs on Taiwan-made computer chips. Now, this is a really big deal. I don't know what the 25 to 100% is. What does that mean? We just haven't landed on a number, or sometimes 25%, sometimes 100%, or I don't know if he's trying to bully them into something. I'm sure he is. Here's the problem. America has not at all remained in any way, shape, or form competitive with this industry. It requires certain minerals that I think we have found some stores of those minerals, but again, we don't have even the infrastructure built. We don't have chip processing plants. Maybe there's a couple, but not anything in comparison to some of these other countries. Then we've had these trade agreements with these countries, and we've been getting our phones, our computers, our cars, it's there's a chip in fucking everything now. There's a chip in all of Elon's experimental people's brains. And this is probably, if we can continue getting those objects here, if we can continue to get, new phones and new computers and all that, they're going to be exponentially more expensive. Or B, again, it's hard to say what some of these other countries, how they're going to react to this, if they're going to kind of stand up back to him. That, to me, like, that you can't kowtow to a bully because they just keep taking more and more. If you give a bully your lunch money, he's going to flip you over the second day and take more. So I personally, if it were me, I would tell these people, these countries, you gotta play hardball. And I understand why they don't want to do that. They're scared. I get it. But if you don't, he's going to take a mile. He's not taking an inch. Anyways, more will be revealed about that. My solution is for us to stop fucking getting this new phones every 5 seconds. I've had my phone for a couple years. I use my phones until they run out. I don't give a fuck about people who, in fact, I think people who talk shit about green techs are idiots. I like Androids. I don't want to be bullied into anything. And honestly, at this point, Androids are just as expensive as iPhones. But the point is, we don't need all this shit. I am 43 years old, so I grew up when we just had our see-through desk phones. I love those things. I want a see-through desk phone so bad. Let's go back to landlines. Fuck these people. Do I need to be plugged into the internet 24 hours a day? I mean, yeah, kind of for work, but like, do I have to be staring at my stupid phone all day? I don't know. There's like a huge part of me that's like, hey, if this pushes us into enough pain, maybe some of these changes will generally be good. Which brings me to my next and final story. Target is rolling back all of their DEI initiatives. So, I think a lot of people agree our biggest message is by not spending money. I've been going to Target less and less, just personally, because I can't, I don't know what's coming, and I don't want to be spending money on stuff I don't need right now. I used to sometimes get certain groceries there. I won't be doing that anymore. Because Costco has been incredible and has made public statements about how they're not going to be bullied out of making sure that they are running an inclusive company. And I know that they treat their employees very well. And I love that the CEO, the story about the $1.50 hot dogs is really funny. You should go look it up, because his like exact quotes are like, figure out how to keep these hot dogs at $1.50 or I'm going to fuck you up, basically. To his CFO, like the CFO is like, this isn't feasible. We're losing money. And he was like, I don't give a fuck. Figure it out. So now they have their own like hot dog processing plant. It's funny. You should go read it. But anyways, that's a person with integrity. That is a good person. And I want to give my money to companies that are running a tight ship morally, that are treating people like goddamn fucking human beings and with some form of grace. And if Target wants to fuck around, like, I saw a TikTok today where they put all of the like products that are marketed towards like black beauty products, they had them at like 75% off, and they were just, the shelves were empty. So are they literally trying to like, is Target whites only now? Okay, well, no matter how much I ever liked Target, I will never go back. I have never bought a single fucking thing from a Walmart because I know how they treat their employees. So Target, bitch, you're next. I'm actually grateful that so many companies, celebrities, entities, humans are coming out of the woodwork to, oh, I know you guys want to see her. This is next. She's a goo-goo. I'm glad that they're coming out of the woodwork and just putting it all out there, because it gives us an opportunity to meet them with the same energy. And if enough people do that, this could be a huge turning point. I saw, I think it was Al Sharpton, and like hundreds and hundreds of black people went to a Costco. I was like, is that my Costco here in Detroit? And maybe, I like close to Detroit, but, they all look the same, so it's impossible to say. Anyways, I it made me tear up because they're all like in solidarity, there to say, hey, you have earned our money. I saw in that same post hundreds and hundreds of comments of people saying that they just opened a Costco card. I fucking love Costco anyways. The only problem is it is so impossible to not spend so much money there. So that's not like, that grocery store trip should be like once a month. If that, be careful. But, you know, they have really great products that you can't really get anywhere else. I mean, I don't have enough, I could say a lot of good things about Costco. We have a long battle ahead of us, and again, I'm sorry, you guys are probably sick of hearing me say this, but your money is your power. Your money is your power. The less money we can spend, the better. The more of a statement we're making. If you need something, consider refurbished, consider used, consider consignment stores. Oh, speaking of which, Goodwill. Ugh. I don't know if this is like an individual Goodwill store or if this is like their general feeling, but I saw a sign out. Again, this is like a TikTok video. Sign out front of a Goodwill store that said "Daddy's back." Okay, no, I'm sorry. I don't know what's wrong with these people. That's a whole other. I don't have time to have that discussion tonight. They need therapy real bad. Some real weird shit going on in the subconscious minds of the people that insist on calling Trump daddy. I mean, just no. Anyways, maybe don't shop at Goodwill, don't shop at Target, don't shop at all. Read a book, go for a walk. Cook instead of eating out. I mean, I hate to say that. Obviously, support your local restaurants if you can, if you have the funds, but if you are worried about food prices, I would recommend going through your budget with a fine-tooth comb. I did that. It has tremendously helped me. I think I definitely spent a lot less money this month. I noticed there's more in there. That's what happens if you don't spend it on dumb shit. Anyways, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.